We'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for being here today. I'm Will Kirkland, Mayor Ellis's staff, Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives and External Affairs. Here with me today, I have several leaders here in our region who are going to provide some updates regarding their community after the recent winter storm. So to start things off, we're going to kick it off with Parish Police Bureau President Shane Smiley.
Thanks, Will. Listen, I certainly appreciate the mayors reaching out to me and asking us if we could all get together and kind of deliver a unified message today. On Thursday of last week at 3:05 p.m., there was an emergency declaration signed on the behalf of Ouachita Parish. This declaration, of course, was ahead of this winter storm event that was predicted, and it does encompass the municipalities and the cities and all outlying areas of the parish. Certainly, you know, our number one goal has been community safety on behalf of our residents. We want to keep people warm. We want to keep people with water. We want to ensure that their electricity is getting turned on. We want to ensure that roadways are being opened, especially roadways that are being used for emergency response, for necessary visits, hospital type visits, if you will. To date, we know that we have, I don't think that you can be too prepared for an event like this. Certainly, we were as prepared as we thought we could be. It's been a long time since we've had an ice event of this nature. We have faced an incredible amount of damage throughout the parish in terms of tree limbs, trees down on lines, as everybody already knows. I want to commend the mayors, all of their staff. I want to commend the police tree staff, public works, all of the first responders, firemen, firewomen, 911, all of our call takers, Department of Homeland Security, everybody, Acadian Ambulance, Energy, the linemen. Of course, we've had 2 linemen that were injured during this event. We want to continue to pray for them and their families. But certainly, from a parish standpoint, commend everybody that has been involved in this event and all of the volunteers that are out cutting trees, helping us keep the roadways open. We're so very appreciative. I think in times like these, we really see how strong of a community we are, and we're certainly grateful for that. As we move forward, I will say that you know, in prioritizing what we're doing, we are continuing to assist people to ensure that they have electricity, that they're staying warm. I know the mayors are going to speak to the warming centers that they have open on both sides of the river. We're so very appreciative of those. At times we've had to run a skeleton crew from a public works standpoint because our people could not get out of their own driveways or roadways to get out to help. So they have done an exemplary job of getting out and doing that. As we move forward, I want to address just a few things very quickly. I know that everybody at this time is concerned about getting their electricity on. All of us are in constant communication with Energy in regards to that. Following that, we are faced with a huge amount of debris. So I would encourage everyone, if there's tree limbs, trees down, do not fool those until you're absolutely sure that there are no electrical lines in those. Very dangerous for anybody to be around those. And then after that, we will begin to work with everybody involved in terms of debris pickup. Fielding a lot of questions already about that, and it's very important to a lot of people. It's going to get more important as we get warmer weather, but at this point, it is not a priority from the parish standpoint. We're having those conversations. We're working through those logistics, and we will pick up on the communication end of that as soon as we possibly can. But right now, you know, the calls and the texts are coming in regarding tree limbs. I cannot answer that at this point. Lastly, I will just say that, again, so very thankful for the opportunity to be here today to speak to all of you. I'm appreciative of everybody who's helped us throughout this event, you know, from our legislators to our sheriffs to our everybody has been hands-on. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, and if I am, I do apologize. It's been a long 4 days. We've done a tremendous job in getting essential workers to and from work. We appreciate those efforts as well. I know the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries has helped with a lot of those transports, and we're certainly appreciative of that. With that, there's nothing else from the parish standpoint. That is a broad overview. Again, I appreciate the efforts of everybody that I get to work with, all of the jurors as well. I will tell you, I don't want anyone to have, I don't want there to be a knee-jerk reaction or any panic. You know, there are a lot of rumors out there about fuel. The fuel that's available, we're beginning to look at that very, very closely. The water that's out there, we're looking at that very closely. There's a lot of information, misinformation that's out there, but I would just tell everyone that from a governmental standpoint, we are looking at those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane, and I will add we will take questions at the end. So now I'll bring up Roger McConnell, Director of OSEP.
Good morning. My name is Roger McConnell. I'm the Office for Homeland Security's Director for Ouachita Parish. We have been working jointly with all agencies within the parish, law enforcement, fire, EMS, to support the recovery needs or the response needs of the parish during this winter storm. I would say that the efforts with the agencies have been outstanding. Great communication, great coordination, and we are doing everything we can to alleviate this situation and get people back into their homes as fast as possible.
Thank you, Roger. Now we will bring up Mayor Stacey Albritton Mitchell, Mayor of West Monroe.
Thank you. First, I want to start off by saying thank you for the opportunity to be here today, but I also want to give a very special thank you to the City of West Monroe, our Public Works Department, our West Monroe Fire Department, our West Monroe Police Department, and our Building Department. They have gone over and above, been going nonstop since the storm began Saturday, making sure and doing everything they can to be sure that our residents, our citizens are safe, and as well as making sure that our employees are safe. Just a little bit of quick updates there. Our water system is in good shape, so thank you, Public Works there. Debris removal will start as soon as it is safe. When the electrical lines are removed and it is able for the trucks to get in there, that is when debris removal will begin. And our Public Works Department will be, of course, transitioning now to repairs on water lines and service lines as the thaw begins, and those will become evident. Energy has been mobilized at the Ike since last week. They are, out working. We know we've seen them out and about, and we know that they're out doing that. We are thankful for that. But there are 500 more Energy people that will be housed in West Monroe at our convention center starting tonight. So just be aware of them, stay off the road so they can get where they need to be to get all of our electricity back on as soon as they can. Our fire department has been running our shelters. We have 3 shelters open. We have about 225 people in the shelters now. We can take capacity. You may not have a cot, but you are welcome to come in, get warm, and plug in your devices. West Monroe PD has been busy as well, working not only traffic, I-20, doing welfare checks, and then everything else they can do to assist our community, our public, and work with the shelters. Building department's been clearing right-of-ways when it is safe, assessing all of our other facilities. Caroli Park as well as Hasley Cemetery have had extensive damage. They are closed until further notice, as well as we're asking the public to stay out of the rest of the parks, the other parks in the city, until they can be assessed for their safety. And we're doing that as quickly as we can, as safely as we can. The senior center and our transit system will continue to be closed tomorrow. I encourage everyone to go to social media. That is the quickest way to get updates on what's open, what's not open, and what can be done. If anyone has questions or need resources, call 396-2600. We'll be happy to direct you or help you. I do again want to say thank you for everyone. We've all been working together, making sure that doing everything we can possibly do to keep our employees safe, as well as our residents and all safe. So, and just stay tuned for more info.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. Now I'll bring up Mayor Matt Talbert, Mayor of Sterlington.
Yeah, thank y'all for the opportunity. Again, safety remains our priority. Our first responders have been out and actively assisting folks, but as this stuff starts to melt, we're starting to see ice sheeting off of roofs, and that becomes the next danger that we're facing. And so we just ask people to remember safety when you're out. I know people are getting cabin fever being in the house so long, but just give our first responders a little more time. We do have still multiple neighborhoods in Sterlington that are out of power. Energy is communicating with us on a regular basis, and they're going to get to us. They're assessing the situation, sending what they need, and that they'll have us up. We feel like it'll be the end of the day today or tomorrow. We should see most of our people come back online. The First Baptist Church is open in Sterlington during the day for folks to come by, get warm, charge phones, things like that. The town hall remains open if anybody needs to come, as well as the police department. But everyone has responded well. We had folks coming in with food last night. We had men and women and first responders taking that food to the elderly, to children, to folks without power. And so if there's a need, contact our office and we'll do our best. But we want you to remain safe during these next coming days, and reach out to us if there's any need in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Talbert. Now we will have Mayor Gerald Brown, Mayor of Ridgewood.
Thank you. Again, I want to echo what everyone has already said. Safety is our primary concern here. Some of these roads, they look safe, they're clear, they look clear, but there is a lot of falling ice. There's still patches of ice. We want you to be safe. So if you don't have to get out, let's clear the way for all of our support staff, all of our first responders to continue, and energy to continue to do the work that they're doing. We still have some folks in certain areas who are without power. Our multipurpose building is open from 12 to 6 today. It'll be open again tomorrow, where you can come, you can get warm, you can charge your devices, you can have somewhere to maybe get out of those four walls that you've been in all week. So please come out if you need us. Please contact me if you need me, 318-235-4892, and continue to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I'll now bring up Sean Benton with the City of Monroe Water System.
Yes, Sean Benton, Water System Manager. First, I'd like to say thank you to all the men and women of the Monroe Water System itself. They've been out here since the beginning of this storm, and they've been working tireless nights, up 24 hours a day, trying to make sure that the water system is back to normal operations. But to give you an update currently with the water system currently now, the water system currently, the water treatment plant right now is at 100% capacity treatment right now. We're currently filling all our storage tanks here through the city. But we will sit there and say the usage is pretty high within the city of Monroe currently right now. That's due to leaks at homes and also service lines and distribution lines that's leaking. The current staff on the water distribution groups are out there right now turning off water and fixing leaks as we mentioned currently right now. Our goal is to get the system back in shape within the next 24 to 48 hours, that we can have what we call normal pressure. And that pressure is only about 65 pounds of pressure. Currently we're producing about 35 pounds of pressure now. But that pressure will be coming up shortly within the next couple of hours, because we are getting a lot of our storage tanks and stuff filled. Right now, currently, the water system is on a boil advisory. We'll sit there and say it's the first boil advisory we didn't have within the last 25 years. We never had a storm of this nature come through and really knocked us off beat. But I want to say thank you also to Energy, Amanda and her team. They've been very welcoming within this portion. She had many phone calls from us of trying to get that system back online, and they did a great job of getting it back up online. But as it relates back to the boil advisory, our goal is tomorrow to pull samples and get those to the state health department and try to get the boil rescinded probably around Friday, no later than Saturday. So once again, we're at full capacity at the plant. We're still doing some major work in the distribution system, and things should get back to normal in several days from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. We all certainly appreciate y'all's hard work. So now we'll hear from City of Monroe Councilman Doug Harvey with District 1.
Hey there, I'm Doug Harvey, City Councilman for Monroe District 1. So I'm going to talk about the things that you probably need to think about as we start to come out of this. So everything's starting to thaw. What can you do in your home, your yard? So if you've left your home and you have power, when that gets restored, you got to think about space heaters, things like that you left there. So if the power comes back on, is there a chance that something would ignite? You got to think about things like that, because structure fires are a real risk as you come out of this. And so when you also think about what else happens when everything begins to thaw, we're going to start finding leaks that we don't know about right now because we're still below freezing. So if you have left one of these properties, you do need to get back as soon as reasonable, or have somebody look at it. That way you won't have the property damage and things that comes with leaks. I know we've been talking about debris. That's going to be such a slow process, just being realistic about it. If you're going to clear the limbs, get them as close as you can to the road. That way we can get to them. Always be mindful of overhead lines. That way when you think like, hey, here's the claw truck coming, can the claw truck reach it? And so stack that in a way, because if not, it's going to pile up there. You guys are going to call me. We're going to get to have that conversation. So I know that we're going to talk about like the garbage schedule. We confirmed that that's going to be suspended the rest of the week. So plan accordingly. Trying to think of what else we're going to hit there. But the main thing, a lot of you guys have really just came out. You've helped me. You've called me. And really, that's the thing that I really love about my role. I get to see so many people doing that, for whether it's providing food for the warming stations or going out with me and trying to clear roads and things like that. But we're also at the stage where we're clearing trees and debris. I know it's been stressed earlier, but I can't stress this enough that we have to have healthy respect for these lines, because whenever we see people drive over them and things like that, and I can tell you we're not doing the right kind of risk assessment on that, because I'm seeing too many people drive over lines and go places they shouldn't be. And we've had accidents already. Don't become a statistic. It's one of those things where I keep using the phrase, energy is uniquely qualified to assess that situation, and it's just not worth taking that kind of risk. Yeah. So once again, you guys know you can always reach me, 243-3499, and just reach out if I can help with anything.
Thank you, Doug. Now we will hear from State Representative Michael Eccles.
Well, we just came back from a regional assessment with the governor, doing a flyover of Morehouse Parish, East and West Carroll Parish, of course, Ouachita Parish, parts of Union Parish, and even all the way down to Lincoln Parish. You can see a substantial amount of debris field that's all over the area. There's still a substantial amount of ice, both on roads and throughout the region. We also know that we have several different water systems and sewer systems that are down, not just, or have been down in this region, but all throughout northeast Louisiana. The governor's been in contact with Secretary Noem and the Homeland Security Department to work on staging up resources for our region. He has had a call with the White House about working with the SBA for additional financial resources and then disaster recovery. Tomorrow I fly out to D.C. to meet with the White House and to ask for additional resources that we can bring back for not only debris pickup, but also getting our businesses started back. We know that those businesses have been impacted by this. Many of them will still have long-term shutdown due to some of the more critical infrastructure that's going to take time to get back in place. So we'll be working both in D.C. and with the governor to ensure that there's a long-term path to recovery here. The governor also pledged his commitment to finding additional equipment for future storms. We know this is not one and done. We've seen this now happen twice in the last 4 or 5 years. So looking at machinery and equipment that can be shared with DOTD and with the state and locals to be able to clear roads in the future. They've been very proactive by putting brine out and other things that can eliminate some of the watershed and the ice shed, but we're going to be more proactive as we go forward. We've had additional conversations about resiliency plans and then allocating additional capital outlay to fix some of the infrastructure. So I want to thank the governor. We've been on the phone with him constantly over the last few days to ensure that the resources we need are met. And so working with this team behind us, and let me tell you folks, this is a team. These folks have been responsive. They're on social media. They're talking to their constituents day in, day out and fighting to get these systems, many of them, some aging and some that are new, but beyond the capacity with a storm like this. So I want to thank all the mayors and the councilmen for stepping up and doing the right thing and working with the state, and we'll work with the feds to make sure we get the resources to finish the job.
Thank you, Representative Eccles. And lastly, we will hear from Mayor Friday Ellis.
All right, I want to begin by echoing what Representative Eccles said. I want you all to take a look at the men and women behind me. Very proud to serve alongside these men and women, and you will be hard to press to find a more responsive group of leaders in our region. And look, we do the most with the less, and there's not a time that I have not called or reached out that any one of them has answered their phones. The early morning check-ins from Mayor Brown and Mayor Talbert. Thank you guys. Doug, you're always checking in. Representative Eccles, Lonnie Hudson, all of these people have been very proactive about communication and with their constituents, and that's what you want in leaders, and this is a fine group to be able to serve with. I know that Sean has updated you about our water system, and so As many of you sometimes are still seeing some low pressures, it's most likely because you're at the end of that system, meaning that you're at the end of the line. So be patient. It will be restored, and that water pressure will get back to you. As has been mentioned earlier from Councilman Harvey, our trash and garbage services have been suspended until next week. The last thing we want to do is put our workers in a very dangerous situation. These are heavy pieces of equipment. And another thing, I don't need it off in a ditch somewhere or blocking a road that keeps linemen, keeping our first responders from either servicing your home or getting to you. Our police officers, our firefighters are out there doing good things. I just want to touch on things. You've probably seen some of my videos. Another little public safety reminder. If a street light is out, it is a four-way stop. I've seen way too many close calls right now with large pieces of equipment, and I can tell you, if you're down the road in one of these pumper trucks, Ty is going to go to the pumper truck. Do not put your family or anyone else in that vehicle in that situation. We need to move with extreme caution anytime we're driving around our cities, and so please be aware, keep your head on a swivel, and be sure to look out for these linemen, these first responders, and everybody else on the roads. We just got off a call with St. Francis, Sean did, to give them an update on our water system. Of course, a lot of our healthcare systems use our water, and so they've come up with a plan to be able to restore their operations as they usually do throughout their time. Again, our next big challenge for our residents is debris recovery. I've been every part of this city driving through, and there's not a single street that has not been affected by this storm. I was just talking to a few folks a while ago. We were down South Grand, in between Jackson and South Grand. I could not find a street to turn to get from South Grand to Jackson Street. You're talking about large growth trees. I mean, twice as big around as this sign behind us, laid down, lots of power lines snapped, entangled in this, and so I will echo that. Do not try to be a high voltage, low voltage expert. Treat every line that's down as if it is charged. Have conversations with your children. Mayor Talbert brought up a very good point. There are ice shears coming off of homes, off of trees right now. Be very careful while you're out and about, because I do know everybody wants to get outside for a little bit, but have those conversations with your family and your children. Generator safety is another one. I happened to be one of the people last night that we had our generator. We felt like it was in a safe spot. Our carbon monoxide alarm went off last night, in which we had to move it further out and around the corner from our house. It can happen to any of us. So be aware that your fumes are blowing downwind somewhere away from the eaves of your home, somewhere away from your doors or anything else that it can come inside your home, because when you're asleep, last thing we want to do, and last thing our first responders want to do, is respond to something like that, something tragic like that. I think you've got a lot of good advice from all of our people here. And again, I just want to say to each of you, our first responders that have been out there, thank you. To all of our energy workers, thank you. To all of our public works folks, all of our city employees, our parish employees, everyone out there trying to help you recover, thank you. We can't do this without you. You're on the front lines, and we want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing. And lastly, and I think I'll speak for all of us when I say, to the citizens that are out there on chainsaws and tractors and helping neighbors and delivering food, our food banks, our sheltering places, 2950 Renwick Street is where we have our shelter. Thank you so much for lending a hand and caring for your neighbors. And with that, I'll turn it over to media if y'all have any questions for any of us up here.
I have a question for Mr. Sean Benton. Yes. You mentioned that the water pressure right now is about 35%. What does the percentage have to get up to? Obviously, if you're less than 100%, you can still get higher pressure, 80%, 65%. What do you have to get to for folks to get some water?
Okay, where we're at now is that once we get more water actually into our storage tanks, that's going to boost the pressure up through the system. We're currently running pressure directly from the plant. That's on North 10th Street to cover the whole square service area of the water system. So as soon as we start getting water into the tanks, which should be probably within the next 3 hours, we should go from 35%, where we look at 35 pounds of pressure, to around about 45, 50 pounds of pressure. The normal optimal pressure for the water system is about 65 pounds, and we're hoping to get around that between the next day or two. But we will get it to a certain level that you will have the water for washing, bathing, usage itself overall, and also make sure for fire protection.
Sean, can you go over why it's such a slow process, and what's the danger if you try to fill these up too fast?
Okay, one of the reasons is that right now the ground is very soft. It went from being frozen to soft right now. Any higher velocity of water through these lines would cause major disruption in the piping itself. And so we're trying to make sure we keep a lot of these pipes in place. A lot of these pipes have been in the ground since the beginning of Monroe times, and so they really can't hold a high fluctuation of velocity of pressure going through those lines. So our goal is to easily get it in there itself, but at the same time also to make sure that we don't have anything that upsets the total system itself.
It's also worth noting that's 35 PSI, not 35%, so we're halfway to our stated pressure.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a PSI rating, not a percentage.
I see. Thank
So
you.
65 is what we're trying to get to as a normal running condition, and we're at 35.
I see. Thank you. So a question I have, I'm Shahid Avis, KNOEA news reporter.
All right.
So, you know, temperatures are dropping, and then you guys always tell us, leave the faucets running. And then you have the temperatures flaring in your household.
Right.
Hot weather, right? So how high should we expect this bill to be, and how can we help with the community pay that bill in utility?
Well, I will sit there and say that we're really not a huge advocate of dripping water. You know, one of the reasons it puts a heavy strain on the water system. I would say some of your older homes, the ones kind of off the ground itself, should do more of a dripping at those locations and probably do more of installation of piping around the house in itself. A lot of the brick homes itself are been pretty insulated pretty well, and normally you don't have to drip those locations. Now, as it relates to the city of Monroe does have a plan put in place where a lot of the leaks that's happening on the customer side, once they go in with a licensed plumber to get those leaks repaired, the city will do an adjustment on the bill itself.
I probably would like to add that if we're just doing a drip, I would not expect it to show up in a meaningful way in your water bill. It's whenever you have the leaks and things like that, that's when you'll see big impacts.
And I guess, and add to that, to give you how the numbers looks overall, we've distributed about 6,000 gallons of water to a tanker truck yesterday, and that number came up to about $25 for 6,000 gallons. So, you know, those little drip overall doesn't really create a huge bill itself.
Okay. What about energy as well? Energy bill and gas bill?
Yeah, you would have to have somebody from Atmos or Energy answer that question for you.
Correct.
I have a question for Mr. Epples.
Sure.
You were actually coming over here, I saw the Black Hawk helicopter that you and the governor were in. What did you see and what did you talk about with the governor while you were on that flight?
Sure, we saw a ton of ice, but what the good thing we saw was a lot of our major roads are now starting to clear. Over the last 3 days, I've been traveling those roads just to kind of report back to both DOTD and local officials which roads were impassable, and then the offshoots to that, the rural roads that are completely impassable for several days. But the conversation on board was more about what resources we could bring back to Northeast Louisiana, not just Monroe or West Monroe, but all of Northeast Louisiana. We know in East and West Carroll Parish, they've got both systems and backup systems that are down, power down, so getting those systems back online. And then longer term, working with a USDA grant process and matching funds at the state to be able to try to lever $10 to $20 million to bring back for debris payment for our municipalities and the citizens. And then even longer term projects would be to bring in these machines that would be able to clear roads in the future. The governor has an interest in getting one for central Louisiana and one for North Louisiana. We've never had that resource. Of course, we've really never needed it. But having that equipment at the DOTD office that cities and parishes could use would be a valuable resource during times like this. And then other trucks that would come out and deploy either salt or brines in the future in addition to what they have right now.
Can you tell me about that machine that's coming in? I'm not familiar with it.
It's some type of a road grader that still preserves the integrity of the asphalt, but then can clear ice off the road. So between knocking off the top layers of ice and then putting down some type of a salt or brine solution, it should make the roads more passable faster. If you're out traveling in West Ouachita or even in Sterlington, there was so much snow and ice on the ground that if you had a two-wheel drive Corolla, it was almost impossible to be able to maneuver your way through without going in a ditch. So this machine would be able to clear major thoroughfares throughout the city or the parish or the region and make them passable during extended periods of ice or snow.
Thank you.
I'd like to just make a note and pick up on something that Representative Eccles made earlier. Fastest way to help this community recover is help one another, but also small businesses have been shuttered. They employ a lot of people within our cities. The fastest way to help us recover is to help them through patronizing their businesses. They are really the backbone of who we are. These are small businesses. I always hate that term because your business wasn't that small to you, was it? It was everything to a lot of people. They employ a lot of people, and we just ask that you patronize those businesses to help them get back on their feet. And again, when they're back on their feet, they're employing so many people within our community. So help one another. Just make conscious choices about where to buy first, and if somebody local doesn't have it, then move to your big boxes. But just stay aware of all these people that are there employing so many of our families and doing so much for our community, because it's typically those small businesses that are showing up feeding people right now while they're shut down. It's their kitchens who are open and delivering food. So just this is the best way to thank them.
Mayor, what would you say about the resiliency of neighbors and the Northeast Louisiana people who have responded in folks with chainsaws, folks checking on the elderly, families that may not have the resources of some others? What would you say to those folks?
I wouldn't want to live in any other community. Everywhere you go, you see people helping one another. It doesn't matter. I passed through, I think it was like maybe South 25th yesterday, and you had multiple residents with their grills out, just grilling for family members. There's so many people who had resources who are out and about. My phone is just filled with residents asking, Mayor, how can we help? How can we get put in? I know it's really hard sometimes to sit on the sidelines, but I tell folks, be patient. We'll be able to put you in when we know it's safe for you to go out and operate. But that's who we are, right? That's who we know, what we know about our community, and serving from the capacity that we serve in. We get to see it on a broader scale because we're out in so many different parts of our city. You may see it in your neighborhood, but it is widespread. I mean, you heard of the relief efforts that was happening for East Carroll Parish and how the farmers were pulling together to help out people, and you can't describe it. And so we've seen this time and time again. That's why we know when people come here to our community why they love it so much and why this place is so sticky and people don't want to leave. We got good people.
Thank you.
May I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just to kind of go on what Mayor Ellis was saying, it has definitely been heartwarming to get the phone calls, the texts, what can we do? I want to give a shout out to our churches in our area as well as, but specifically First West. They have come through with feeding the people at our shelters. And so I want to say thank you there with hot meals, and then others have brought packaged snacks and other types of contributions. But the things that people have been sending and saying, how can they help now? I've told them when it is safe to get out and help with debris removal, help your neighbors get their limbs and their fallen things to the roadway so that they can be picked up. That would be a huge help to a lot of people. But of course, be mindful, do not go out and do it until the power lines have been cleared and that it's safe. But it is very heartwarming, refreshing, gives you, especially when none of us have electricity and we're all kind of tired of this, to see the outpouring of support that has been from our community.
Do we have any more questions?
I have a question from social media, I believe from Mayor Mitchell. Is the senior center still equipped for a shelter?
The senior center is equipped for a shelter when it is time to open one. We have 3 shelters open that have capacity. We are trying to make sure that we have the resources to man those shelters, and so we've got the 3 shelters open now. The Rec Center on North 7th Street, and then the West Monroe Community Center on 500 South 5th Street has 2 available spaces and areas there for shelter, and there is capacity at all 3 places. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Again, I just want to add, each of these individuals behind me have all done a great job of putting information out to the public, whether on their personal page or their community pages. So I just urge you to visit their Facebook or their websites. So again, that concludes this press conference. Thank you all so much.